I just realized, finishing up my intro, that I was muted for the entirety of it. That's awesome. No, gosh. I was just saying, hi, everybody. My name is Zombie. I am doing a speedrun version of it. I am a horror and failed Final Girl VTuber, and I am joined today by Spooky Monstera. We are going to be talking about Mandy, released in 2018, directed by Panos Cosmatos. It is a surreal action horror film inspired by 1980s metal and horror imagery and deals with themes of grief and revenge. It is a story that follows Red Miller, a lumberjack played by Nick Cage, seeking revenge on a group of cultists after they attack and murder his wife Mandy, played by Andrea Riseborough. I'm joined once again by Spooky Monstera. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell everybody a bit about what you do.
Hi, I'm Spooky Monstera. You can call me Spooky Monstera, whichever you prefer. I love horror movies. That's why we're here today, right? And I stream cozy games and horror games when I'm feeling a little brave.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Like I had confided into you before we started stream, I actually was not familiar with Mandy. It was my first time watching it, was preparing for today's stream. But it's such a weird and surreal movie. I'm really interested.
It is.
What was your experience? How did you find this film? What was your experience with it?
So when this came out, 2018, right? I don't know if a friend of mine wanted to see it or how I came across it, but when it was in theaters, I went with a couple friends and we watched it, and I was just, I don't know, enamored the whole time. I loved it. And yeah, I mean, maybe because it's so weird, it's just the whole thing's just a vibe. It's a vibe movie,
It
and
is.
I kind of love that.
I completely agree. I'm surprised that you went to go see it in theaters. From the research that I was doing, apparently it didn't do very well in theaters.
I was actually looking that up earlier today. It bombed terribly.
Yeah. What was it, like 6 million budget? They made like 1 million back or something like that?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible, which is so sad, but also it is a weird movie. So
It's a
not too
really
surprised.
weird movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it did so poorly because I feel like all of the stuff I've seen people talk about Mandy, people love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get maybe it's more of a cult classic now. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think so. That's kind of the vibe I get from it. It seems like it's really popular among people who really like film, but
Yes,
maybe
yeah,
not
yeah,
for
yeah.
a more like general audience, I suppose.
Yeah, which is fair. Like there's a lot of artsy fartsy scenes in it, a
Yeah.
lot of weird coloring and stuff. Just, and like I said, vibes. Like it's just a weird out there movie.
Yeah,
Um
it's like it's a little bit of an acquired taste, I think, is
mhm,
that like
mhm.
style of movie.
That, yes, 100%. Actually, I remember when we saw it in theaters, the scene where Nicolas Cage is in the bathroom and he starts yelling
Yeah.
for what feels like a lifetime when you're first watching it.
Yeah, that's a long
I
scene.
yeah. A lot of people didn't, I guess, really know how to react, so there was like laughter towards it, and I was just like, you guys don't get it. You're not
No, like
understanding.
literally. I can definitely see because it's like that's like a really long, unbroken cut of
Yeah,
him just
yeah.
wandering around that bathroom and screaming. I could see how people, especially like in a theater setting, may not
Mhm.
necessarily know how to react.
Yes, yeah.
Theaters bring out like really weird reactions from people, I've noticed.
They really do.
But
So,
one of the things that is super, super apparent in like of the like artsy parts of this movie is the lighting. And that was like,
yes.
I'm such a big lighting person when it comes
Oh,
to
me too.
movies. Like, I was so struck and enamored with the way that this movie is lit,
It's
and
beautiful. Like,
it's so good.
yeah, I'm glad you agree, because it's, I guess that would be one of my selling points if I'm trying to convince somebody, because I feel like this could be a hard sell to some people, but
Yeah.
the it's just beautiful. I love it.
hmm There's so many things about it that are really, really striking, and I remember learning whenever I was doing the research for today that Cosmatos was really inspired by like heavy metal like
Mhm.
music videos and like horror box art imagery, and you can really see that in like how each segment of the film has that little title card, which I love the title
Yeah,
cards in
yeah.
Mandy. I think that's so cool. I wish that more
Yeah.
movies did that kind of stuff.
Right. I think it's so interesting because the first one that you get, I can't quite remember what it says, but it's no, I don't remember, but we get like two title cards, and then finally we're like halfway through the movie, and the title card comes up, and it finally says Mandy, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
we're
like the
just getting to the
movie's
title
title card
now.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I thought that
think
was really cool.
my favorite one is that first one, that like really beautiful blue glittery title card. I
Yeah,
think it says the
yeah,
Shadow Mountains or something along those
yeah,
lines.
yeah, something like that. And then I think the second one is something about children.
It's the cult name, I think. The
Yeah,
Children of the New
yeah,
World or some
yeah, yeah,
whatever they're
yeah,
called. Yeah.
yeah.
But
But so good, yeah.
I learned that the cinematographer Benjamin Loeb, I think is how you say his name,
Hmm.
Cosmatos was like talking with him, and he had like expressed in an interview that he was like, I didn't really get what he was trying to tell me, because I guess he's like a very logic minded person when it comes to
Hmm.
lighting,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's just no logic whatsoever with the way this
No.
movie's lit at all.
No, yeah, you just kind of have to get into it and I guess kind of feel what he was going for to and then I guess just adapt from there.
Yeah, it was just all vibes. It was just,
Yeah.
I want that to be glowing. I want you to put 3 filters on this shot.
Mhm. Mhm.
The outside of the car is going to be lit differently than the inside of the car. Just a lot of really cool stuff. But I could see like how if you're working on that movie, you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Right? Yeah. Definitely, definitely. I was actually listening to like the producers and stuff talk about it
Hmm.
and one of them was yeah, like they just didn't it was just so hard for them to comprehend and one of the producers was actually Elijah Wood
I was so
and
surprised to find that out, by the way. I
I
was like, what are
know,
you doing
right?
here?
He's always doing some weird stuff. He's interesting, but he seemed to be the only one that was like, yeah, this movie needs to get made, like this needs to happen, and everybody else was just like, I don't know, man, this is
Yeah, this is kind of out there, man.
yeah, yeah,
No, but I mean, I'm glad that they stuck to his guns. Apparently, Cosmatos was also
hmm
like very like non-negotiating about the way things were set up, and I think it worked out for the best.
oh yeah, yeah. He has a vision, and he has to go for it.
Yeah. Um. So the movie's broken up into these 3-ish acts, like each kind
Hmm.
of segmented by those title cards that we talked about earlier. And the
Yeah.
first act is like what, like I think is like one of the longer ones, or it feels really long, where it's just Red and Mandy and setting up like their relationship and how close they are.
Hmm.
And it has this almost like fairy tale quality to it in a way.
Yeah, that was actually one of the other things that they talked about. The director talked about how it kind of started turning into like more of a like fantastical
Mhm.
type environment. So yeah, I definitely agree. The beginning, like their love for each other, and then just being like alone in the woods. It's just the two. Like nobody else in the world exists. Um, I think it does a really good job at like just really I don't know, honing in their relationship.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like really small things. Because Red's not a talkative character really at all in the
No,
first part
no.
of it, but there's a lot of little small things that he does for Mandy, or like the thing, like I think like all of his lines revolve around Mandy in some way to like kind of show that she's so important to him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I love the fact that like there's like you said like he's not very talkative and there's plenty of scenes where they're just existing together. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like we have to anybody has to fill in the space here. They can just exist and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I feel like it was a realistic depiction of a relationship that has been going on for a long time, and they're just comfortable
Yeah.
with each other.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely, yeah.
But Alongside those kind of more fantastical elements, we do like early on get some of that like weird imagery that kind of implies that like something is wrong, like Mandy coming out of the water in that one scene, or like the baby deer scene.
Yeah, yeah. See, and those are the those are the type of things where I'm like, I don't quite understand 100% like what I should be getting out of this scene, how it's going to like parallel to whatever's going to happen later, but I'm like, it works.
Yeah, I think so. I think that if nothing else, it did a good job of setting up that feeling of dread of like
Oh
something's,
yeah.
yeah, something's not quite right here. Like you don't know if it's like there's something wrong with the area that they're in, if there's something
Mhm.
wrong with Mandy. Like
Yeah.
there's just something going on.
Something's off. Yeah, yeah. I was also wondering when she tells the story about the birds and
Yeah.
which is a horrible. I'm like, this is just an awful memory for a child. Um, but that was another thing where I started thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know again how this story is supposed to like lead into everything later. Like, is she or is she going to be like the bird? Is that what I don't know. I didn't know what he was going for, but again, I was like, this is I don't know, adds to it in an interesting way.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily understand the Starlet story either.
Yeah.
I I was more so focused on the deer scene because to
Yeah, yeah.
me, like Mandy and the deer were like reflections of each other. So I was like, I
Ooh,
think the
okay.
deer is representative of her, but I'm not really sure about the starlet thing. The starlet thing is just kind of like, I feel like I kind of forgot about that story later on as everything started getting crazier.
Which is fair, yeah, because like I said, like I couldn't after the movie after I after my rewatch, I was just like, I can't think of how that really tied back in. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do agree, yeah, the deer and her being reflections of each other. I like that, yeah.
Yeah. Cause she has this sort of, for lack of a better way to phrase it, like this kind of like innocence about her of like
Mm,
her and Red are so kind of sheltered from the rest of the world and like
yeah,
it
yeah.
seems to be like in protection of her. She seems to like being there way more than Red does.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah. I I really like I really like the first act of the movie though. I like the weird environment of the forest. And I think that like the conversation, like the scene between Red and Mandy that came up most prominently for the rest of the movie was the planet conversation
Oh, yeah, yeah.
cuz that ends up getting referenced a lot later.
Yeah.
Like with Jupiter and like the Eye of the Storm and GLaDOS?
Uh,
Galactus.
Galactus. Yeah,
Galactus.
yeah.
Okay.
The Eater of Planets. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was interesting stuff. But definitely I do really like that first act as well.
Yeah.
It
It's
feels
hmm?
it feels almost like a like if we were to separate that from like the second or the third act, like it could be its own little just short film that doesn't really necessarily lead to anything, but a whole different vibe from like the rest of the film.
I completely agree. I feel like the first act could genuinely set up so many different stories.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It could really go anywhere.
Hmm. And the fact that the Children of the New Dawn and the Black Skulls come into it is just like it almost feels like we're watching like a bad timeline of a million possibilities that could have happened
Right?
for those
Yes,
two.
yeah. Yeah. In another
Um
life, they never
yeah.
met the cult, never met the Black Skulls, and they're still living out there?
Yeah. They're just by themselves and happy.
Yes, exactly.
But the it's not quite a second act because this phase of the story doesn't really happen for long enough, but there's like this
Hmm.
interlude between the first act with Mandy and Red and then the final act with Red where we get introduced to a lot of the characters of the movie as it leads up to Mandy's death and then shortly after her
Hmm.
death, where we meet the Children of the New Dawn, led by that Jeremiah Sand guy,
Jeremiah, yeah.
and the Black Skulls. And I think that this is where a lot of that metal and horror imagery really starts to trickle in, because
Oh,
what
for
the
sure.
fuck even are the Black Skulls, honestly?
Right, they are wild. Anytime one of them is on screen, I'm like, "What is going on with you? You're
They don't look
I don't."
human.
No, they don't, which is something I thought that they were maybe implying. I know later on Red goes to can't remember the guy's name, but like his weapons guy.
Hmm.
Um and he kind of goes into more detail about um the Black Skulls, but I was still like, I don't know, man. They do seem like otherworldly. They're just they can't be human. They're just too bizarre.
There's just, yeah, there's just something wrong with them that isn't just that they were given bad LSD. There's just something, like, I feel
Yeah.
like fundamentally evil about those guys.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, like to the core of their beings is
Hmm.
just evil. Yeah.
But
They're definitely interesting. I'm curious though how they kind of got involved with the cult, because they obviously, I know the cult uses them and we see that, but like how did that
yeah,
relationship
right?
start to begin with?
Because
I
it's,
don't.
we don't get a lot of we don't get a lot of information about the way that the cult interacts with the
Mhm.
Black Skulls outside of that one scene with the horn of, like, the horn of Abraxas.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like they just have this understanding, I guess.
Yeah, they coexist. I don't.
Yeah, because it
It
doesn't really seem like the chemist really fucks with them anymore, like the Black Skulls. Because
No,
we
yeah,
see him
yeah.
later, the guy with the tiger, but he's just kind of
Mhm.
like, he's on Red's side more than anybody. Like, he
Yeah.
seems like the closest to a neutral party there is, but even he's
Yes,
just like, no,
yeah.
those guys kind of suck.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just definitely bizarre. Like them, the which I also thought was interesting too. The horn of Abraxas, and then there's also the knife that they use later that they called like the
Yeah.
Pale Knight. I think naming of these items are also just very fantastical, which is
Hmm.
an interesting, not juxtaposed, but like these scenes, like you said, do feel definitely more heavy metal, and then like having that little fantasy elements by the names. I don't. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's because the weapon that Red makes also has some sort of like fantastical name, like the silver axe that he makes.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember
that
what it
axe is so
is.
cool. I
The
don't
the
either,
axe is
but
so cool.
yeah. I was also wondering that I'm kind of jumping ahead, but when he makes that, I know nothing about blacksmithing, but I'm assuming it takes more than like a day. So I'm curious how much time in between, like from Mandy's death to when he finishes his axe and goes on his rampage. Where what? How long was that?
Yeah,
It feels like a day, but
because we don't see him like change clothes or anything. He's wearing the same thing for the
no,
pretty much the entire
yeah.
thing. But he's also going through grief. There's a possibility that that took way longer and he just didn't change his clothes.
For sure, 100%, yeah. So it's just but it doesn't it feels like a day. It feels like it was very quickly, and I was like, "I
Yeah,
don't think you can make an axe that fast, though."
especially since it seemed to like follow a semi-realistic method of how that would work. Like, it had like the
Yeah.
parts that you would need to like belt or sand off still attached to them, so it
Mhm.
seemed like he was going through a lengthy process.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, i
I don't know.
i
Interesting.
don't know. um the black skulls are definitely like the more fantastical villains in the story. Like, they're like way more bizarre in my opinion
Mhm.
than the
Mhm.
children of the new dawn. But the children of the new dawn, they have like, it's they did a really good job of like playing on a trope without making them super tropey, I think.
They did, yeah. He definitely kind of gives off like a Charles Manson vibe, but not
Yeah.
like in a I don't know, like they rode that line I think very well without it being like you said too tropey or too cliche even like he feels like enough like his own character while still being similar to what you would expect.
Yeah, because I think he hits all of like the cult leader like bullet points that you kind of hit in this type of story. Like, he's
Mhm.
thin, wiry, white blonde guy, just really weird long robes, like the like
Yeah.
multiple scenes with no shirt for some reason.
Yeah.
But he's so insecure and so
Oh
overtly
yeah.
insecure that I think it kind of
Yeah.
like overplays all of that. Where it's like this
Mhm.
guy is he's just a loser.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrible. And when they play his, or when he puts on his album, I'm
Stupid
like,
record.
it is so bad. I'm like, I'm glad she's laughing at you. Like,
No,
someone needed to.
absolutely. I was really nervous watching that scene because there's a lot of really bad implications with that scene. But
Oh,
I
yes.
felt so much levity in my heart when she just starts laughing in his face
Yeah, it was
because I was
definitely
like, this is
needed.
ridiculous.
Yes.
That
Oh.
that scene though, where he's like in her face and then the entire shot's red and they keep like
Mhm.
superimposing her face onto his, that like
Oh,
long
yeah.
monologue he goes on is so unnerving and unsettling
Yeah.
though.
Very unsettling. I don't think I even realized that the first time I'd seen it, that like her face was, on top of his, like they were kind of melding together. Um,
Hmm.
but on my rewatch, I was like, oh, this is so weird. Like they're almost one and the same here, and I can't believe I missed that before. Like it was super creepy.
They do a good job of like not making it super obvious that they're doing that,
Mm-hmm.
because whenever I was
Yeah.
watching it I was like, there's something wrong with his face but I don't know what it
Can't
is.
figure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
only thing that gave it away for me was I saw her scar on the other side of his. I was like,
Her
"Oh,
scar. Yes.
yeah, that's what they're doing. That's fucking weird."
Yeah.
But
That's what gave it away for me too.
like they had drugged her at that point, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the weird visuals and like the after effects that they kept doing when everybody moved, like I imagine that's probably like a good representation of like how out of it she's feeling and just because
Oh
like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm so like unimpressed with Jeremiah as like as a concept
I
for
know,
the
I know.
majority of this movie, but that was a really good scene.
That was, yeah. I really loved like anytime someone would move, it kind of like trailed. You had the
Hmm.
colorful trails behind them. I was like, I haven't done LSD, but I was like, maybe I don't. This feels pretty realistic to me.
Yeah, I was like,
Like they're,
this seems to be right, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like whatever,
Um,
Jeremiah. Your religion is that you take LSD and say affirmations into a mirror, but like this, you've got this scene. This you can have this one. This one's cool.
right, yeah. I was actually we were thinking about earlier when I was rewatching it, how, because I agree with you, his character is just like not impressive at all. He's just terrible, dumb, big old baby. Um, and because of that, I'm like, how did he get so many followers? Like, I can understand, like the young woman, being easily manipulated, but like
Yeah.
the older guy that is all like 100% in on Jeremiah. I'm like, what happened to you, dude? Like, why are you worshiping this guy who's like, I don't know, half your age? This is
I was
weird
just
to
gonna say
me.
like there's like yeah there was definitely like really weird power imbalances in
Yeah.
the whole because Jeremiah is like really not capable at all, but everyone else around him is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He could be nothing, without
Hmm.
everybody else.
And I think it's implied that a lot of his like manipulation over people is drug based.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can see that.
So I'm wondering if like I'm wondering if it was just similar situations to the one that he put Mandy in. It's just with them it was way more
Mm,
effective.
yeah. Yeah. I can see that. That, like, honestly, that has to be like the only other way. Cause like when you think of like Colton real life, like, even comparison to Charles Manson, like Charles Manson had like a uh a like a presence to him, right? So like
Sure,
people
yeah.
were drawn to him. But Jeremiah, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know who would look at him
Yeah.
and like, yeah, I need to
He,
follow this guy.
he's not particularly charming or anything.
No, yeah.
He's just kind of a wiry weird dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I definitely I can see the drugs doing a lot of the heavy lifting there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Um, but in addition to like the major villains of this story and like getting introduced to them during that little interlude, we also see like other kind of cool characters. We don't meet the chemist. The chemist is like final act stuff, but we meet Carather, I think is the weapons dealer's name.
Yeah. I think you're right.
He's super cool. I
I
don't
liked
know.
him.
I'm so confused about what his and Red's relationship is or what their history is
Right?
with each other, but I would love to see that at some
Yeah.
point.
More of him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. He was definitely I loved when Red goes over there, like there was kind of no questions asked. He was just like, "Yeah, your weapons here. Good to go, man. Just whatever you need or whatever." And
Yeah,
not
like
till
kept it
after
safe
he
for
gives
you.
them. Yeah. And it wasn't until after he like gave him the the was it his bow, and then like also gave him arrows that he made or whatever, where he was finally like, "Hey, what is this for?" But in the beginning he was just like 100% there on his side, whatever he needed. No
Yeah,
questions asked.
which is so which is like that character trope in and of itself. I'm always really drawn to those characters. I think that like the guy out in the woods that is like just has the main character's back for whatever reason. I always think that they're super
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
But they just really don't explain it at all
Mm-mm.
about how they know each other or
No.
anything.
No, and I'm so curious since Red and Mandy live out what seems to be miles and miles away from anybody else. I'm like, how close is this guy to you? You had to have
Yeah.
driven a good minute at least to get to him. And and, and yeah, like again, how do you know him? Is it somebody that he worked with? Like I can't understand, like see another way he would have met him because of the life that they're living that we see in the beginning. Obviously, he has a life before, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm like, you had to work together. I feel
Yeah,
like that's the only way.
they're so far out of the way that I can't imagine he knew this guy prior to living in the woods. But I
Yeah,
also don't see this guy as being someone who works like in the field that Red does now because
that's true.
Red's a lumberjack now and like he goes into work but like he's got to take like helicopter and stuff to go to work and
Hmm.
everything. And this guy seems like I don't know, he just doesn't seem like he's out doing that.
Yeah,
Or at least not
yeah,
anymore.
not anymore. Yeah, maybe once upon a time, but yeah, now he's just, I don't know, just existing there in his trailer. I guess I don't know,
Yeah. I think
but
that I was really curious about when this was going to happen or if this was going to be this type of movie. Because whenever you first suggested Mandy and it was like it's a Nick Cage movie and I was like it's a Nick Cage movie. Because Nick Cage movies have like this sort of reputation to be a certain way. Like
yeah,
to
yeah.
be kind of ridiculous or like campy. And I started watching it and I was like, no, this is actually really serious. I was like, when is it?
Hmm.
I was like, when are the Nick Cageisms going to show up? And
Right.
then no, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. Then Mandy dies, and I'm like, oh, there they are.
Right. Yeah. I think that's why the scene where he just yells for like 5 minutes in the bathroom. I think that's why people like in the theater laughed, because I think they were just like, "Oh, it's Nick Cage being Nick Cage," and I'm like, "This is a man that his wife he just watched burn alive. Like
Yeah, like in front of
this is
him.
yeah, this is the only proper response. This man is grieving. Like not a laughing moment,
And
but also Nick Cage."
I think that it would be kind of lost on people who don't have the like like lived experience of this. But
Hmm.
how sobering those moments and those scenes were directly after that happened. I feel like we're so realistic to like the way your body responds to like sudden trauma or grief like that, where it's just all of the fantastical elements for those like that like 5 minutes were just gone.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then immediately afterwards, he or maybe this is before, I think it's after he starts screaming. Like he just passes out
Yeah.
or like it's just, and then when he oh yeah, and then when he wakes up, I think that's when he screams. And I was like, yeah, this feels like he didn't immediately afterwards, I don't think any of it had processed and he passed out, woke up, and then that's when everything hit him. Like it was
Yeah.
like a train hitting him, like full force.
Yeah. But we weren't in this like none of the with we weren't in like fantastical colors realm anymore. We
No,
weren't
yeah,
like
yeah.
it was just essentially a camera plopped in the middle of this guy's house watching him
Mm-hmm.
have a breakdown.
Yes, yeah.
Like
And
and
it's heartbreaking.
yeah, it was. It was just I feel like it was like one of those moments where they did a really good job of portraying the feeling of the fact of like, especially when he came in and the TV was playing and that weird commercial was on,
I
of
love that
like
commercial.
the commercial's fantastic. The
The cheddar
cheese goblin,
goblin.
the cheddar goblin is so fucking
Yeah.
good. Did you? I learned that the same guy who made Too Many Cooks made the cheddar goblin
Yes.
commercial,
Yes. When I
which
found
is
that out, I was like, this makes
fantastic.
sense. Right? Yeah, I
That
love that
looks like
guy.
something that guy would make.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Yes.
that scene I like to me felt so realistic of that feeling of like you have your entire world fall apart essentially,
Mm-hmm.
but life just keeps happening around you.
Yeah.
Like cheddar
Yeah.
goblin's still gonna that commercial is gonna still play on the TV whether you're grieving or not, man.
Yeah. Cheddar goblin don't care.
No, cheddar goblin doesn't give a shit. he's he's there to sell Kraft mac and cheese knockoffs. He doesn't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that like I think you worded that perfectly. It definitely sets it up. Like, yeah, his whole world is gone, but the world keeps spinning. It's not
Yeah,
can't stop for that.
but like directly after that moment, that's when like the proper third act happens and we finally get the
Mm-hmm,
title card of
mm-hmm.
the movie. I think it's
Yeah.
directly halfway through the movie.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's about a 2-hour movie, I think, and
Yeah,
yeah, at that second hour, we get the Mandy title card.
yeah, which is crazy. It's
Right?
crazy that
Yes.
we get it in the middle of the movie, but
Right?
I
Bonkers.
love it so much.
It works so well.
And this is where like the visuals really just start doing whatever, I think.
Yeah.
Like we had like they had already been crazy up to this point, but just all bets are off after this point.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is when like we're upping the gore, the
Mhm.
violence, like the just wild imagery, crank it up to 11. That's what they're doing this last hour.
Yeah. It's just things get nuts.
Yes, yeah. I love the last act of the movie because it's just I really love a revenge movie. So
Mhm.
watching him get that vengeance, it's like I don't know, I feel cathartic and like it's
Oh,
just
for
so good.
sure. That's like the big appeal, I think, of revenge horror stuff is
Yeah, yeah.
that cathartic feeling of like people do bad things and a lot of the time in real life nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah. You
But
just got to accept that.
in that world like of like the revenge horror film, like victims can like they have a way to kind of strike back and like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make things right, quote unquote. So
Yeah.
it's super satisfying to see a lot of the time.
It is.
I
And it's so wild. Like we were saying, it's just such a such an intense last act
mhm.
because he's Nick Cage is just like he has nothing to lose now.
No.
So
Yeah.
he can just go balls to the wall after these people one by one, and that's what he does.
Yeah. This is where it kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, this is where the Nick Cage beats the shit out of a lot of
Hmm.
people movie aspect starts coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because isn't Nick Cage, I could be making this up, I might be lying. Isn't he like like trained like a trained fighter?
I don't know.
I
I
feel like I've
wouldn't be
heard that, but
surprised.
that also sounds like something that like middle schoolers would make up about an actor. So I don't
Right?
actually
Yeah.
know.
I'm not sure, but I can see that 100%. That
Nick
sounds like
mhm.
a Nick Cage thing.
Nick Cage kind of gets like the Chuck Morris treatment sometimes where people just say
Yeah.
crazy stuff about him and it
Right?
sounds plausible enough that you're like, yeah, I think so.
He's just such an out there guy. Like if you were to look at his filmography, it's just in all the characters that he's played, some of them are just, really serious, and then you have stuff like this, or you have I don't know.
Fucking Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
I
it's
kept
just
thinking about that movie while watching this. I was just like, he just really likes horror movies where he just kind of gets to beat things up.
right, yeah.
Did you know
Yeah,
that they wanted
that is
him
another
to?
one.
Did you know that they wanted him to play Jeremiah initially?
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, that is awful. That would have
That wouldn't
been
have been a very good role for him, I don't think.
no, not at all. I'm glad that they were able to convince the director
Hmm.
to go the other route because he is perfect for Red.
He's a
Like,
perfect Red. I agree.
yeah. Yeah, he would not have been. I think he would have been too charming as the cult leader, and then we wouldn't be shitting on Jeremiah. We would just be like, yeah, I get why everybody's following him. Like,
Yeah, like he would be too good, and so like the like really weird, like pathetic angle that Jeremiah has to have wouldn't have worked as
uh huh.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
But this like last act, like you said, it kind of like ups the gore and everything. We
Mm-hmm.
also like pretty early on we get Red gets captured by the Black Skulls and gets taken to that like weird, like I think it's like a little cabin or something that they took over.
Yeah, I was actually wondering about that place because the when they tie him up to the radiator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the place is so bizarre to me because when he gets out of there, he's in I'm assuming a basement, right? But
Yeah.
he he threw the one Black Skull guy into a giant hole. So
That's right. Yeah, what the that the map of that place makes no sense.
yeah, yeah. I was like, okay, maybe this is some kind of like industrial building or something. But then he goes upstairs and I was like, this just looks like a house. This is
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's a really good I hadn't even thought about that cuz you see the couple like it looks like a house and then you see that couple that's dead in the bedroom. So it
Yeah.
implies that they took this place over. Why the
Mm-hmm.
fuck did this old couple have a like endless pit in their
In
basement?
the basement. It's so bizarre. Like, what were they doing? What I need the story on that pit.
Yeah, like what are like I think that they were up to something crazy. Like
But they had to have been.
that the layout of that house is very like House of a Thousand Corpses to me. It's just
Yes.
I don't think it's supposed to make sense. It's just I think it's just one of those like vibes thing where
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we think that the pit would be cool for the scene, so just
Yeah.
accept that it's there.
Right. Yeah. Just pits are supposed to be in basements. This is all normal. Just
Yeah.
accept it.
Also, that black skull guy that falls in the pit shows up again later. Were there stairs down there that led back upstairs? Like, how did he get
Does
back
he
up there? I think so because I think it's the guy who after he kills the big guy who is like watching porn on the TV,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
he gets shot at. I think it's the same guy that fell in the pit
Oh,
because it's the mask looks the same. I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure it's the same dude.
that's interesting. I
So
didn't
like,
notice that. Yeah.
how the fuck did you get back upstairs, man?
That also looked like a pretty far drop. I don't know how you would have survived that.
I I have no idea.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah.
But again, like we get this like really weird look at the Black Skulls. It's just like they're all just so weird and fucked up. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting any of them to talk because that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
talks to Red, and for
He
some reason, I
does.
just thought that they were like post-verbal.
Yeah. I kind of think I would have preferred for them not to talk. I know that he doesn't really say too much. He says like a couple lines to him.
Yeah,
Um, and same to Jeremiah when they first call him or call them when they kidnap Mandy. I think he says something to Jeremiah then, like, oh, like he wants more blood or
yeah,
something.
blood for blood.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I guess it works, but
They
I
just
can also see them not talking.
the idea of them like tying Red up, I feel like felt too intelligent.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very self-restrained.
Yeah, their characters don't. I feel like they're supposed to be more, not necessarily animalistic, but just more uh primal, maybe.
Yeah, I think primal is a good word.
So yeah, tying him up very neatly like that was feels out of character.
Yeah, it's a bizarre choice to say the least. Because I was like, what's the plan after? Like, why? Why did you do that? Because
Yeah.
that implies you want him alive for some reason.
Mm-hmm. They could have just they wanted more blood, right? They could have just taken him.
Yeah, like he could have been cooked right there.
Yeah. But
I thought the entire like the final Black Skull scene. Like I know we needed a way for him to get there, but I thought that entire like last time you see them was a little bizarre because I was like, why did he just run that one guy down and flip the car?
yeah. It
Like your
also just
entire operation could have just been done right there, man. You could have died.
right exactly. He clearly was not thinking.
No.
But yeah, that is an interesting scene. And then like I guess they immediately are able to kidnap him because after the car flips, I think that's when we get to the pit house.
Yeah. So it's like I'm just imagining like the guys in front because he shoots the guy at the very tail end, which is
Yeah,
a smart
yeah.
thing to do. But like the guys at the tail end like don't hear anything. He could have gotten away scot free. And then they're like, "What the fuck was
Right.
that?" When they hear the crash,
right.
they're like, "Turn around, turn around."
They just ignore it, keep going. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Because you can't imagine that that's super uncommon with the way they run around those woods like that, right? They
Oh
can't
yeah.
care that much.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Just
But
looking at their house where they're staying, they definitely don't care about anything. Like,
no, there's no camaraderie here.
no.
But like Red was doing that crazy stuff before he had ever touched the LSD because that like weird
Yeah.
little pot of stuff that they have, like I'm assuming that's the LSD at least.
Yeah, yeah. I think the what they say, I think when he sees oh, what was his name again? Why do I keep forgetting the weapons guy's name?
Does he see him again?
Uh no, but when he talks to him, Carruthers, that's his name. The one time when he sees him, they talk about I'm pretty sure, unless this could be in one of the deleted scenes, but I think it was Carruthers that mentions the LSD, the chemist making like
Yeah.
the insane LSD for them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Yeah, because I remember the thing about like him giving him like the bad LSD,
Mm-hmm.
but I was surprised to find out that that jar of stuff was the LSD because when we see the Children of the New Dawn when they have that meeting in the woods and he gives him the jar, I thought that it was a jar of blood because it was really dark.
Oh
And
yeah.
then because he just downs it really quickly and it's really dark and you don't really can't really see very well in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But then like Red takes a like hit of it and it's just like that was so little and he's just
Right.
fucked now. And that guy
Yeah.
just drank this like it was water.
right.
What's like you just like life can't be pleasant for them.
No, no, not at all. That tolerance, I guess, has to be
Yeah, right. It
off
has to
the
be
charts if that's what
insane.
he's doing. Yeah, I really love that scene, by the way, when he takes that little bit. First of all, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off on side tangent. I don't
No,
know
yeah, go ahead.
why you would try anything to begin with. I'm like, you have to be focused. You're trying to murder everybody here, and you're just
Right.
like, yeah, let me take a little bit of this insane drug that I don't know how I'm gonna react to at all.
That I already know was like kind of a ploy to kill these guys that didn't really work
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
And I guess like
So
it's a hard mentality to be in because like again like Red is in deep mourning and like is off in an awful headspace at the moment. So I imagine
yeah, yeah.
like him doing self-destructive stuff makes sense, but it's
Sense,
also like,
yeah.
brother, we got a mission. You got to
Right,
focus.
yeah. There's still people out there you gotta go get to.
Yeah, you like
Um
you haven't even gotten all the people here yet, man.
right, yeah. But I do love since he decides to do that, the scene of like it immediately hitting him, like the skull melting. I think that's some
Yes.
claymation and just other interesting visuals. It's so good.
It's
Like I just want more of that.
so good. I love that scene so much. I am such a sucker for any like claymation stop motion
Oh,
stuff
me
in
too.
horror.
Yes, yes.
I just watched Hellraiser last night, And the scene where the guy, like Frank, comes up out of the floorboards and that like stop, like I love that shit so much.
So good.
But
Yeah.
no, like all of the art direction in this movie is fantastic.
Yes.
The animated scenes, we haven't really even talked about the animated segments with like the dream visions of
Yeah.
Mandy.
Dream
Those are
sequences.
so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Those are like very like Conan the Barbarian to me.
Yes. Yeah. 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 That's what I was thinking. Like very, very much. Yeah. Either Conan the Barbarian or like those old fantasy, you know, paperback type things, cartoon things like within that realm. I mean, the movie's supposed to be in the early 80s, I think. So
Yeah.
definitely the art style that you would have seen, much more common back then.
Yeah, and like 80 in like the like metal music videos and stuff like
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm.
Like the big staple of those I remember was like those desert orange backdrops with like beautiful women in front. Like they
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
that really well.
They did. They did. Yeah. I really liked it because unfortunately with using um 3D for animated movies and stuff like that, like you never really see a ton of hand drawn stuff anymore. So
Mhm.
having even just a small element of that in this movie, I was like, yes, this is great. More of
Yeah,
this.
for sure. I think that thankfully like a lot of indie stuff has a sort of appreciation still for hand
Oh
drawn
yeah.
stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm really glad to see it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I think that this scene like in like the weird pit house and just going onwards from here, you also kind of get a bit more of that ridiculousness of
Mhm.
like the goofy line deliveries that I think people would expect from a Cage movie at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
or like the weird situations like him scooping up that pile of coke with the piece of glass,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
or just being like, "You tore my shirt," and like headbutting the shit out of that other
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, definitely much more. I don't know if the director like was just like, yeah, just do you. I don't know if he had like a ton of direction for Nick Cage or if a lot of it was just Nick Cage being Nick Cage,
Yeah,
but it works so well with how just absurd the last act is. You need him to be just as absurd, I think.
yeah, I think so. I I I felt like a little bit of it was potentially out of place, but I think that it found its place rather quickly. I think
Mhm.
it was just such a harsh tone shift that it took me on a
Yeah,
back foot, where everything had been
that's
so
fair.
serious and artsy up to this point. So for him to just
Mhm.
be like, "That was my favorite shirt," it was like, "What are we talking about? What?"
Right. And then you don't see till later that the reason why it's his favorite shirt is because that's when he met Mandy. We see the
I
flashback.
know.
And then you're like, oh, I get it now. But definitely, yeah, in that moment when he says, that's my favorite shirt, you tore my shirt, it's just like, what?
It's like, what are you talking about, man?
Huh? We're like slicing and dicing here. What's going on? Like,
It's just like focus, focus, focus.
yeah.
One I say that like I felt like some of it was out of place, and then hypocritically on the other foot though, I do also really like the chainsaw fight.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think the chainsaw fight was really cool, even though that's
So
objectively
fun.
ridiculous.
Oh, for sure. Him coming up with like your typical size chainsaw, and the other guy's like, "Well, look at mine," and it's a giant
Like six
chainsaw.
feet
What are
for
you
no
doing?
reason.
Yeah, I'm like, this is. Why would you need this? What situation do you need a chainsaw like this?
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I was like, I don't think that's a real thing. I think they just made this up. And if it is a real thing, what is the purpose of it?
Yeah, and who can handle like I haven't even held a regular chainsaw, but I'm assuming that one that's almost 6 feet long or whatever has to be extremely heavy.
Yeah, like a
And
normal
that's
one is
dangerous,
heavy, like a gas powered chains.
right?
Like they're not
Yeah.
light.
So like this one has to be so much more and that's dangerous. Like
Yeah, it's so much worse for the fight because it's so top heavy that you
yeah.
can't
Yeah.
control it, and that ends up being what I think like that. struggle to
That's a
control it
downfall.
is his downfall.
Yeah, 100%. Because that fight, like, it almost seems like Nick Cage didn't even have to try too hard.
No.
Like, Red was just like, yeah, I'm gonna. I'm good, and him holding his giant chainsaw, like barely able to lift it up, like
Yeah. It was just silly. It was silly,
yeah,
but I did like it. I thought it was funny.
it's fun.
It was a real I think that like with so much with like the heavy tone of everything, having like a chainsaw fight was a really good moment of levity. Like
Oh yeah.
it kept this movie from being a bummer, I think. Just like
Mm-hmm.
some of these moments cuz this movie could have very well been like not fun to watch.
For sure. Yeah. There's a lot of tragedy. Yeah, it's just very tragic. So
Mhm.
we needed that slightly humorous chainsaw, and like even when he falls on the chainsaw, like and him dying was a bit comedic.
It's so B movie slasher that type of death
Yeah.
to like fall on top of the chainsaw.
Yeah.
And like like him grabbing the chain and like lassoing him with like
Oh
it's
yeah.
so good. It's so funny.
The chain, yeah, that's great. But I agree, yeah, definitely B movie
Hmm.
esque, and so I can see why it could feel a little out of place because yeah, the rest of the movie does not feel like that.
No, it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
I'm so again like I think that this is a type of movie where it doesn't have to make sense. It's
Hmm.
just things kind of happen. But like their weird little like commune like or like the little I don't want to call it a church because I don't know if that's what it was. It seems like they live there. But the little
Yeah, their little
pyramid in the
triangle
woods,
home.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was in the woods itself. I think it
It was
was
like in a
like
quarry or something.
yeah, yeah, like maybe it used to be the woods. I don't know, but it looked like it was everything had been like cleared out, and it was just an
Yeah.
empty, maybe old construction site or something. And I was like, this is a really weird place. Also seems difficult to get into, in and out of. I don't know.
It's just a lot of open space too. It's just
Yes, yeah. If anybody comes over there, I don't mean I don't know how many people are coming out into the middle of nowhere, but you're you're kind of in plain sight there.
no, you absolutely are. And I think that you said about like construction that seems right because the only thing I could think of whenever we get that panning shot of like that's gonna get taken down, like that's not in zone.
Mm-hmm.
There, someone's
Yeah,
gonna
this can't be
shut that
here.
down. Like you're gonna
How
get
long
yellow
is this
taped,
building?
dude.
Yeah, yeah. How long is this building supposed to last? Like, what were your plans here?
It just they don't have any. I think is the answer.
But yeah, they're just living in the moment, not thinking about the future, I guess.
No, just not at all. But I think that I was a little bit worried that the final showdown with the actual cult was going
Hmm.
to feel really rushed because I took a look at the time when I was watching it and I was like, there's not a lot of this movie left by the time he had
Yeah,
finished with the
yeah.
black skulls and everything. But I think that it works because you see them again and you're like, oh, these are just normal ass people.
Hmm.
There's nothing
Yeah.
fantastical or otherworldly
No.
about these guys at all. They're just annoying.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely makes more sense to have spent more time with the Black Skulls, since they, like you said, like they give off the, like alien-esque vibes, or like just they're just not from here. They're definitely like above us. So it makes sense that he would struggle with them. But the
Hmm.
cult members, they're just, yeah, they're just average people. There's nothing special to them.
Yeah, like like more than half of them are like older as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like like you're a LSD like hopped up like man in your prime swinging around like a battle axe essentially. They're not gonna last long.
No, yeah, exactly. And
Um,
they
I
don't.
no, they don't. I was very happy that he spared the girl.
Yes, yeah, that
I was
was,
a little nervous about that.
yeah, yeah. I would have definitely been the wrong choice for if he had not. Because her her in comparison to the rest of them, like it's definitely obvious that she is much more maybe naive or innocent in comparison to the rest of the cult members and just got swept up in this.
Yeah, I
And
think that she's very like she's much more of a like you can tell she's a victim of the cult rather than being
yeah,
like super cool with them.
yeah. So yeah, definitely the right choice to let her go and, hopefully she's living her best life now.
Yeah, I was like, honey, you need to get in that car and drive very far
Yeah, just
away.
go, girl, go
But
fast.
yeah, just you just need to start walking in a direction and leave
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
because I think that they like they did a little bit of foreshadowing, and I think that that weird like Russian roulette game they made her play as like a display of her love for Jeremiah. I think that like solidified that like oh he's not gonna bother her because like that was such a like cry for help moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I also thought that that was such a great scene because, Jeremiah's like oh, you guys think you love each other so much, referring to Red and Mandy.
Yeah.
And then he has her do the Russian roulette thing. I think it's so interesting that to him love is someone having to prove himself and potentially die for him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you were to look at Red and Mandy, like they obviously would never put each other in that situation and they would be protecting one another. There were complete opposites. And I thought that was a really great um, way to show that.
Yeah, Red and Mandy's relationship as compared to the way that Jeremiah views that relationship
Mm-hmm.
should be. Red and Mandy are both individuals. I think is very apparent in their relationship. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really like you don't really see that they have a whole lot in common. They seem to have very distinct interests,
Yes, yeah.
but they still like they have that love based on like the fact that they are individuals and they can just be
Mm-hmm.
together and they
Yeah.
don't have to be like like the same person.
Mm-hmm. They
So
can be a unit while also being their selves. Whereas, yeah, Jeremiah is like, we need to be one. This is a whole,
mhm.
you know, consuming them basically.
Yeah. I was very pleased with the way that the last scene that you see Jeremiah went.
It's so funny.
It's
That's
so funny.
it's one of the things where it's so absurd that I'm like I, I like it because of how absurd it is. But also I'm like how did any of this happen? I don't how
No,
could
it
he
is
do that?
another like moment of like how the fuck does this guy have like what is happening?
Yeah. Where did all this strength come from? I know Red's a strong dude, but how? Like I expected him to like I don't know. Not too much of a battle because as we've talked about Jeremiah is just like a scrawny little
Mhm.
dude. I don't think he really could have done much, but like I don't know. I thought he was going to like gouge his eyes out and I don't know, do something I guess a little more grounded in reality. Um so when that didn't happen, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I don't know the logistics of crushing someone's head. Never tried it
Yeah.
personally, but I don't. I think that it led up for a cool kill. Like the
Yes,
visuals,
yeah.
it was super cool effects that they used. I think
It
that
was.
they
It
like the
was.
dummy head, like they
Mhm.
did a really good job on it.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I think that like symbolically as well, like imagery wise, it was very cool because it was like the like being brought to your knees before like a deity type of imagery,
Mhm.
and Red has his like the I am your god now
Yeah, yeah.
like it was really cool symbolically.
I agree.
Jeremiah's such a bitch though.
He w-
His whimpering and pleading was I knew it was going to happen and it still made me laugh.
right? Yeah. The whole time I'm like, he's such a little bitch baby. What is going on? Like how did this man I don't know, just exist in the world for so long with this such a sensitive ego. Like,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
I think that it was I'm really pleased with the fact that they did have him in that really sensitive, like bruised ego, like pleading for his life
Mm-hmm.
moment. But I am happy as well that they did stick to the guns of the character being an egomaniac
Oh
and
yeah,
being
yeah.
like, no, it was all a test. Like just trying whatever, just saying
Mm-hmm.
whatever he thinks will get him out of this. I
Right.
think that was
Yeah.
very good for the character integrity.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. And it's still comical to me because I'm like, you're like squirming here, and we can all tell that you're, like you said, just spouting out anything that you think. There's no conviction behind his words. There's nothing he doesn't
No.
believe. It's just whatever is going to save him in this moment, and that's nothing. So it
Yeah,
didn't
right.
matter.
But um the last kind of question I have um is kind of leading, like all of this kind of wrapping up into Red getting into the car and leaving. What is your what's your interpretation of the ending? The ending is really bizarre.
It is super. I don't know. Like, so he's driving. He's in the car, and it looks like he's with Mandy. I feel like maybe it's supposed to represent like like maybe putting her to rest now. Like everything has been taken care of as much right as he could have done, so that
Hmm.
like she's at peace
Yeah.
and him being okay with that. But the smile that he
Yeah, it's a
has,
lot. It's a lot.
I don't know. I don't quite know how to read that because it is a lot.
I s- I couldn't help it. Like, I guess like my interpretation of the ending is kind of similar to that of like he kind of like has that internal like I did what I could for her
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
closure, but I don't think it'll ever be over for him.
No, yeah.
I think
That
that
yeah.
I think that Red is going to live in this night for a very long time, possibly
I
for the
can
rest of his
yeah.
life.
I can see that.
Because his entire world is just over now, and avenging that is
Gone.
over now. So just kind of
Mhm.
having to find what's next.
Yeah, yeah. And I definitely can see him struggling and finding what would be next for him.
Hmm.
What I did think was really interesting is they like pan out and you can see the sky, but there's other planets that are super close.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's supposed to be um like a realistic thing to this world. Like, are they not on like the Earth as we know it? Is this universe different, or is this just another one of those fantastical? Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of drugs in the movie thing.
I
So I
think
wasn't sure about that.
I I'm not 100% sure either. I think that the background changing and like switching to that more fantastical like again like metal cover esque setting
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
is more because the way that I have always interpreted like the color and environmental work around Red is I've always interpreted it as being like a reflection of how he's feeling. Like the colors were really beautiful and peaceful whenever he was in bed with Mandy having that conversation about about planets. Um, whenever he's like really like stressed or like spun out, he like
Mm-hmm.
the colors get super crazy. I think that it's like like I feel like it's just a kind of a representation of how his world has changed forever is my personal interpretation of it.
Okay,
Like
okay.
things just aren't the same now.
Yeah,
But even then I'm not sure. Like it's a really bizarre, it's a very surreal choice.
yeah.
I think
Or it
there's a
could also
million different ways to interpret it.
definitely, yeah. I mean, even you brought up again their conversation about the planets, and maybe maybe the planets are supposed to be like representative of them, like their favorite planets they had mentioned. Maybe it's like, I don't know, something to that effect. I don't know what
Mhm.
planets they were. I don't know if it's obvious.
I'd have to look at it again. I don't
Yeah, I would.
remember.
I don't either. But yeah, maybe it's also, I don't know, a reference to that as well.
Potentially.
Either way, it looks cool.
No, it's super cool looking. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful looking.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my last question for you. Did you have any questions for me
Um.
before we kind of like start to wrap up?
Oh gosh, I should have thought of questions. I didn't think of any.
It's okay if it's okay if not.
Well, oh, I'm curious. Are you going to, after watching this one, and you said you did enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you think you'll watch any of the director's other films? His first film is also very, very artsy.
I remember hearing about that when I was like looking at stuff. Beyond Black Rainbow or Black Rainbow?
Yeah, yeah, Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Beyond the Black Rainbow. I'm very interested in seeing Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Okay, cool. That one's also visually very, very pretty again. And I think they're supposed to be like within the same realm, same world, maybe.
Oh,
I could be
okay.
wrong. But yeah, I think there's supposed to be like a very loose connection between the two. Um, but yeah, again, very, very artsy, hipstery
Mm-hmm.
horror movie, but cool looking. Just again, another vibes movie.
No, that would be really cool. I definitely do want to go see that, so I think that I will check that out at some point
Okay.
soon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad we talked about this and you and I could introduce you to this movie. Cause yeah, a lot of people, I think there's a lot of people that don't know about it. And like I said, it is a hard sell, but it's so cool.
It's super fun. It's super cool. Thank you for recommending it and having us talk about it. I'm really glad I got my hands on it.
Yeah, me too.
But
Hopefully more people will check it out. Everybody watching, everybody listening, go watch Mandy if you haven't.
yeah, it's super fun. Like even if you're not really into like analyzing and picking apart movies like that,
No,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
cool
yeah.
to watch.
Yeah. Like just go enjoy the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that enough. Like
That's very good.